take your seats. School is now in session.
Homeschool podcast. Homeschool.
The homeschool podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to do that at all. Welcome back to Homeschooled Podcast. I'm Augustino Zoida. I'm the host of the Homeschooled Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. My co-host Kevin Lyons is not here because I'm currently having guests call in during the pandemic, if you will. But Kevin Lyons is always here in spirit, and he's still the co-host, and he still does a really great job and hard work on editing all these podcasts. So how about a round of applause for Kevin Lyons, everybody. My guest today is Rene Aguirre. Rene Aguirre, listen guys, I have a lot of stand-up comedians on here all the time because I am a stand-up comic. This podcast is mainly about the life of a stand-up comic and documenting the journey that we go through as on the rise, and how we had to teach ourselves a lot of stuff so that we can get through it all. But I like to have other people on here who are not necessarily comedians, but they have something else to offer, so all of you can kind of relate into what I always preach about on here. Today, I have on Rene Aguirre. Rene is not a stand-up comedian, but I worked with Rene a couple of years ago on a television show called Standup Deliver. So I was on Season 1 and Season 2 of Standup Deliver, which was a stand-up comedy TV show on WOWO2020, which I think is now bought out by True TV, but it used to be called WOWO2020. So anyway, we worked on a show. He was like the showrunner, president of that network, he that's how we met. I did Season 1, and that was extremely successful, and he really liked me a lot, and he had me do Season 2. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, we haven't talked in a really long time, so I decided to have him call in because him and I were talking online on social media recently about something that he pointed out to me. He shed some light on to me in regards to Bill Gates, Microsoft conspiracies, people trying to get microchipping us, all that stuff. We do kind of get into that in this episode, and it's super interesting, you guys. It's super interesting. I do like to have some conspiracy theory people on here sometimes, but this is not even a conspiracy theory, guys. This is actual facts. It's knowledge. You can Google it, and that's what we're going to talk about. But first, we talk about we're going to talk about comedy. Let's catch up a little bit, and then we're going to talk about that, exactly what I just said. Okay, it's going to be really interesting. I already did the episode with him, so I already know how it went. It went great. I had a lot of fun. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I want to have him back on very, very soon, hopefully next week or the week after that, so that we can so that we can continue our conversation, because it was just heating up. It was just getting good, and there's more that I want to know. So give it a listen. I hope you enjoy. But before we get started, I usually plug some of my sponsors. Today, there's only a couple things that I want to plug, and it's mostly supporting me. I'm going to be at the House of Comedy in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, live in person. You can watch live performing artists again. This will not be a Zoom show. This will not be a streaming online comedy show. This is a real comedy show, and if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, you can come out. June 18th through June 21st. That's Father's Day weekend, the Thursday through Sunday. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona at the House of Comedy. Tickets are available at my website, homeschooledpod.com. I will also be pushing on to you guys right now the importance of supporting this podcast. If you can at all support, please buy a t-shirt. That's all I ask. I don't want donations. I'm not doing no Patreon, nothing like that. Just buy a t-shirt. That's the best way to support the podcast, because not only do we get a little bit of a profit from it, we mostly, a lot of the profit goes to the company that makes the t-shirts and ships it out to you guys, but we get a little tiny bit of profit, and we get our name out there, which is, to me, you guys wearing our podcast shirt and supporting us and repping us means more to me than any dollar amount. It brings me joy and lets me know that I should keep doing these episodes and bringing you guys great content when I see people tagging me on Instagram or Twitter or something that, them wearing a shirt. I love it. So head over to homeschoolpod.com and click on merch, and we have hoodies, t-shirts. It's getting to be summer. I have tank tops. I have yoga pants and yoga tops, or workout tops for girls. We have mugs, stickers, and right now, you can get the Ex-Presidents series logo, which is on all of our t-shirts and everything. It's a dope design of the Homeschool Podcast. It's called the Ex-President series. Go check it out right now. Pick something up, just even if it's one thing. We really appreciate it. And when we hit episode 300, that logo is no longer going to be available. That represents the 200s. When we get to the 300s, there'll be a brand new t-shirt out that you can get. So right now, it's very limited time that you can get the Ex-Presidents edition. So go check it out. So the link to my website will be in the description, where you can also pick up tickets. And that's it, you guys. I'll keep you posted on my comedy album, which is coming out very, very soon. I'll let you know when it goes on pre-sale. And that's it. So now let's start this episode with me and Rene Aguirre.
Hello.
Rene Aguirre, how have you been?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Sorry about the delay. I was running a little late today. Believe it or not, dude, traffic is coming back little by little.
That's the return of the normalcy. The other day I was driving to Ontario, out of all places. My parents live up there, but there was a bunch of traffic heading over there. So I realized, things are going to get back to normal once you start seeing traffic.
Yeah, little by little. And then also, it's Memorial Weekend, so I maybe some people are actually going away.
Hopefully for good.
Yeah. What's going on, man? It's so good to hear from you. We haven't talked in quite some time.
Has it been, 2-3 years?
Yeah. Since the whole, Nouveau TV thing and Stand-Up and Deliver, right?
Wow, so that was 6-7 years ago. I think it was 2014.
Wow.
2014? No. 2012, I think, was the first year that we did that first round where we shot at the Ha-Ha and you were in it. So I think it was 2012.
Right. And then
wow.
I did season 2 as well, which you guys filmed at the Improv. And that was probably the very next year.
Yeah. Let's see. So I got married in 2013. I based all my work events around the day I got married. So 2013. We shot Stand-Up and Deliver 2 years prior to that.
Wow.
A year and a half. So I believe it was 2012, 2011.
Yeah.
And then the year after that was 2013. It was earlier in the year, because then we ended up doing another season in Cabo. That's the 2013.
How did that one go?
That one was a lot of fun. We were actually going to do a 4th season. We had everything planned out. Everything was greenlit. We went out to scout. This was in September of 2014. We went out there. We did a scout, and unfortunately, there was the stat. We were down there for the scout. We got the beginning of that crazy hurricane that pretty much destroyed the entire city or town. So everything was flooded. All the places to that got destroyed. The hotel we stayed at had issues. The whole we shot the series around a comedy festival that was taking place over there.
Oh, I see.
So the festival was canceled, and then we were trying to figure out if we're going to do another one. They weren't going to be ready in time. Cabo Wabo, where we shot the first one, had some issues with damage, so it didn't work out. Then we did a relief. We did a comedy relief to raise money for for some of the people that were impacted down there.
I see.
We had some pretty big names that helped us do it. We had Billy Gardell.
Cool.
We had Rob Schneider. They took the time and did some time on our show. We had Psycho Mike host it from K-Rock. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
What's his name?
Dude. Psycho Mike.
Oh yeah. I think I think I do. Sounds
Yeah.
super familiar. I know I've heard that. Wow. So that sounds awesome, man. But whatever happened with the show? Like, did they just is Nuvo even? I don't even think Nuvo is a channel anymore, right?
So when I was there, it was Nuvo TV, and around that time when the hurricane happened, we were going to Nuvo TV purchased Fuse TV, and they did a whole rebrand. And the big focus was going to be lifestyle and comedy. So we started licensing more comedy specials, more original comedy specials. We got first windows on a few specials, and we signed some deals with. We signed a deal with Gabriel Iglesias, who did a show called Fluffy Breaks Even.
Oh, that's
with
right.
us. We did. We signed a deal with Wilmer Valderrama's company, who did a show for us. It was a marionette puppet show, reenactments from celebrity stories. We had like Amber Rose, we had Gina Rodriguez come on. They shared a crazy story that took place in their life, and they were reenacting the marionettes. So that was another show that I was the ET on. But soon after that, a lot of the executives started leaving, or they were let go. And 2017, they decided to go a separate way and focus more on the music lifestyle, not necessarily comedy anymore. So we parted ways. They took care of my bank account, so I was happy about that.
So what are you doing now? Where do you work now?
So through working with Dave and his team, we always kind of figured we'd end up working together somehow. So for the last 2.5 years, I've been working for Arson House and Icon Concerts, and last summer we kind of finally founded a production company called Outer Circle Media. We started before we founded the company. We started doing podcasts. We started doing a lot of the in-house marketing for all the talent, all the shows that all the touring shows like Gabe, Joe Coy. We're doing a lot of the in-house marketing. So we just why don't we just start a company and just do it under its own umbrella, under its own company, under its own name. So now we have a small studio. We do right now. We still have 5 podcasts that we do out of there. We just signed a deal with 800-Pound Gorilla to do one of their podcast shows. And then we'll also do small little fun projects out of there. We're developing shows for a lot of the talent that we work with, not just comedians or talent that are signed to Arson House, but just comedians and friends that we've known for years that we feel like we can just have some fun and make fun content together. And this whole COVID thing has opened up different avenues on content creation, especially with like Zoom and StreamYard. So I think there's going to be a change in the acceptance of how people view content, and there'll be more acceptance of, and they already have been, because of like all the influencers creating content with like shitty cameras and like shitty lighting, and I think now with like these Zoom comedy shows and Zoom meetings, people are accepting. They're going to be more acceptant of more shittier quality, but still good content, if that makes sense. So I think you'll be able to create more fun stuff with less money. Obviously, you'll still have the bigger guys like the networks, Netflix, pumping a lot of money into their productions. But, you know, nobody's paying these TikTok artists to create shit when they start off, and they blow up, and then they become fucking millionaires based off of them creating these videos on their phone. So quality, I don't think really is really an aspect anymore.
Mm-hmm. So you think that it's going to be like people are going to kind of be more okay with the quality because it's kind of all we had to deal with. They're going to get a little bit more used to it.
Yeah. You're kind of becoming immune to quality.
Oh man, I wish that weren't true, but I think you're right. I think you're right, man.
I think that's the shift. I think there's and you know, there's still, you know, you recently did a thing, right? Like one of these, like the Zoom type virtual comedy shows.
Kind of. I won't do a Zoom comedy show. I don't know if I ever will, but at least right now I'm saying no. But I did do this. What do they call it? They call it a captive audience with. It's an app called Laugh Lounge. So it's just like I guess it's not a huge difference, but for me it was different because one, I know the guy is like who does it is legit. You know what I mean? I know he's not going to be like, you know, all right, set up your laptop and just, you know, go do a comedy show. No, dude, we had to go down to the studio, and I mean, it was like a full production, man. The guy had, you know, professional legit studio, you know, stage lit. High tech. I don't know what you call it. I'm not a technical guy, but high tech, cameras. And then we had like two 50-inch flat screen monitors facing you. That everybody on the app who subscribes to the Laugh Lounge app was on there, and they were watching you, and you could see them, and you can perform and interact with them. And I know that Zoom kind of works that way too, but it was just way different. Like I had a stage, I had a background, I had a spotlight, and then I was just kind of performing for the camera, but I'm also kind of interacting with the people on this giant screen like in front of me. So it was just it was just a good experience, you know. That's probably the only one I would do just because I know the guy and I know how legit he is, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did do those. That is Laugh Lounge, yeah.
Is it available to the public, or is it still like beta?
No, it's available to the public. So all you have to do is just download the Laugh Lounge app. And it's a subscription, so I believe it's like $4.99 a month, but you get the first week free. So if anybody wants to go watch my performance, it's interesting. I was actually literally the first comic to ever use that type of state-of-the-art, virtual stand-up comedy equipment. Because I went first, so I was like, I guess I'm the trial, I'm the guinea pig. But it was it was a good performance, so if anybody wants to go watch it, you can sign up for 1 week free, and then if you don't, you watch a bunch of stand-up. If you don't like it, you can cancel it after.
I always find myself being suckered into the 1 week free, and then
you end up doing it.
And then you forget that you put your credit card information, and then you look at the same like, oh shit.
I'm in the middle of that right now with Hulu. Hulu got me good.
Hulu got me. I did the 1 week trial of HBO through Hulu, and I fucking forgot about it. They got me for a whole month. I was like, motherfuckers, you got me.
Yeah, I did that too with HBO, but I remembered to cancel the HBO. And then I go, well, now that I canceled HBO, let me do Stars. Because that's what I'll do. I don't do them all at once. I do one at a time because you watch everything you want to watch on there, and then you cancel it, right? So that's what I'm doing. But Hulu got me, dude, because and when I signed up for Hulu, I even paid for the extra one. They go like, do you want the basic or do you want Hulu like Plus or whatever they call it, which with the no commercials? And I'm like, well, I'm gonna cancel this anyway, so give me the best one, right? So I got the best one, and of course I forgot to cancel it. I'm like, $65.
They get you, right?
They get you.
And there's still ads.
And there were still ads. You're exactly right. There were still ads.
Yeah. I saw for that one too.
Man, I'm gonna cancel it. There's not really anything to watch on Hulu either.
There isn't, and that's the one because it's only $5.99 a month, and you're like, you know what? I'll sit on there because there's some kids movies on there. When my kid watches something, this is probably the same with every kid. When they like something, they want to watch it 100 times.
Oh yeah,
a week. So there's a couple of things on there that you like to watch, But once he forgets about them, I'm going to cancel it.
Yeah, totally. Totally,
The
man.
only reason I got HBO was because they have Shazam on it.
The movie Shazam? Oh, that's right. Yeah, they do.
That's the only reason I got it. And then I forgot to cancel it. I didn't put it on my calendar a week later. But we watched Shazam like 100 times, so
Yeah.
got my money's worth, I guess.
It's cheaper just to buy it.
Right?
Man, with my luck though, if I go do when I film a stand-up special, the only network that's gonna buy it's gonna be Hulu Watch, and then they're gonna come back and listen to this.
Yeah.
And then
You
like
should
you know,
find out.
in a year I'm gonna be on here being like, everybody go subscribe to Hulu and watch my special.
So, are you ready for your 1 hour?
I'm absolutely ready to film a special. Well, first of all, let me backtrack a minute here because we were just talking about 2012 and 2013 when you and I worked on Standup Deliver, which I had a lot of fun doing those. And thank you so much for having me on those, man. Season 1 was me breaking my cherry of my first television performance, which was great.
Awesome.
And then in 2014, just 1 year after, I recorded an album, which, you know, is a completely different, it was an hour album, probably a little bit more than an hour, but I never did anything with the recording. Not a special, just like a CD, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I never did anything with it. And back then the plan was, you know, I'll get it on satellite radio and I'll make some money on that and stuff. And I just never did it, partially because, well, a big part of it was I wasn't 100% happy with it. And a big part of it was like I was never happy with it, so I wanted to like have time to like kind of edit it, and I never really had time to edit it. And then you know how things go. Before you know it,
Yeah.
a month goes by, a year goes by. So during this whole pandemic thing, and we're in a lockdown, and you know I'm not performing anywhere really. I was like, well, you know, I have all this extra time, so I've actually had the time. I still had the recording, and I went and I edited it down from, you know, it was a little over an hour. It was like an hour and 10, and I edited it down to 51 minutes. So I took out some of the stuff that maybe wasn't relevant anymore, or the original stuff that I didn't really like, which kept me from releasing it. And it's gonna come out, dude. It comes out next month. So
Awesome. Are you streaming it out, or what's the release?
So it's just an album. So it's gonna go to iTunes, Amazon, you know,
Yeah, that's great.
satellite Pandora. You know, yeah, I'll probably, you know, hopefully people will go and buy it, and then besides that, hopefully it'll be out there, you know, in the world on XM and Pandora, and I'll get paid that way every time someone does. So I have that. I got it distributed. I got it everything. It's in the works. But you know, that was 2014 when I recorded it. Since then, so many other new bits have come and gone. But right now, I have a completely different hour, which is probably 10 times better than that one, that I'm absolutely, yes, to answer your question, I am ready to do a special. But when the world opens up again, I don't know how I'm going to do it. You know, I am performing, just to let you know, next month, I already have books in the calendar. I already have bookings. So there's other states like Arizona, for example, like their comedy clubs are open. So they started to book. So in June, Father's Day weekend, June 18th through 21st, I'm performing at the House of Comedy in Arizona. And that's like a 300-seater. And they're only going to sell 75 tickets.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy. So part of the business that I work for, they, you know, we're kind of on hold. We're just waiting to see when they're going to open up full theaters or full arenas, because what's available to touring comedians right now is, okay, we have a 2,500 seater, but you could only sell 400 to 500 tickets.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. Like, it's not even worth getting on a plane, flying over there, and setting up the stage and doing the whole thing. It's not worth it. Some
of those comics that do really big comedy clubs are going to be, you know, settling for smaller rooms, and then but you got those bigger names that are just so used to doing those 2,500 seaters that I don't know if they're going to want to downgrade to, doing a comedy club or doing a smaller size amount of tickets, because like you said, it's not going to be worth it for them, because before they used to make that in one night. Now they're going to have to do 5 shows to make. Man, it's going to be tough.
Here's another thing that falls into making people accustomed to the Zoom comedy and the live stream. Even if you have a small venue, today it says 200 seater, but you can only fill it up with 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to sell a live stream to people outside of the club, nationwide, or you can even do international, where you have a paywall where people buy to watch that live show. If people are buying Zoom shows, people are paying $20 for a Zoom show. I'm sure they're going to be willing to pay $5 to $20 for an actual show meeting on stage with an actual audience.
Right.
So I think there's a chance to make more money versus the 200 seat capacity. If you're a draw and you have fans in New York that can't see you because you live in LA, there's a chance. Now, it is a private. You have to make sure it's a private show, because you don't want people stealing or ripping the video. Which this is what everybody's afraid of doing these Zoom shows, is getting the material stolen and used, and making the comedian's jokes value go down, because why would somebody want to pay to see them again? But I mean, there's still more of a bigger chance to make more money.
Yeah. Well, what I'm worried about is when I go back to perform, and yes, I am ready to film a stand-up special. I'd love to. I have a great idea for one as well. I mean, how good is it going to look having a theater where, let's say holds 300 and there's only 75 people and they're spread out? I don't know how it's going to work on camera.
Well, I think you use a place like, there's from what I've been told, I'm not a comic myself, but when, comedians are asked to submit tape of their set to be, selected for, like the Toronto or whatever, Montreal, sorry. They don't like to see certain clubs because they always kill in those clubs because they're small. So I think like there's venues out there, like legit comedy venues, that are small enough to where even if it's sold to a quarter or a third of the capacity, it'll still sound like kill.
Mm-hmm. But like, what about visually though?
At the end of the day, like a lot of who remembers the fucking audience in the comedy show? In Kings of Comedy. In Kings of Comedy, do you remember any of the people now? No.
No.
It's what's on stage.
I mean, I do like the camera cut to the audience real quick and seeing a bunch of people sitting together and but you're right though. I can't like think I remember their faces or you know what I mean, or I remember one of their reactions or something like that. No, I can't think of that. So no, that doesn't stay in my in my memory. I'm just wondering, like, how is it going to look if the camera cuts to the crowd? Is it going to look silly, like it's an empty room? Or, I mean, I guess one way to do it, I would say, is I would go round table style. Instead of theater style. In a theater, you got everybody on top of each other, and then if they want everybody to, sit apart in different groups, like, your group, like, every group has to be 6 feet apart. I think you'd have a lot of empty chairs in the middle and between people. I think that would look a little weird, but I'd rather do like round tables, like restaurants style, or old school comedy clubs, just little round tables, and kind of place them around the room and just eliminate any empty chairs and make sure they're all the chairs are filled. It's just the tables are kind of like spread out. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's a good approach. And I think for most clubs they have, their seats aren't permanent. You could obviously do that.
Mm-hmm. Maybe make like a little. You have the space between the tables, but you can use it as like a pathway for the comedian to walk up and down the stage. It almost looks like it has a purpose. You can do, I guess, you have put creative minds to anything. I guess you can do something kind of cool.
Well, something that we've been doing with some of the comedians that we work with is we'll go out and shoot their set. We'll do a 3-camera shoot just for digital content. And we've been approached by people who've been interested in just buying the whole tape, but a lot of these comedians weren't, because they wanted to buy the whole hour, but they weren't ready to release that full hour with what was shot, because, for whatever reason. But we've been testing a very cost-efficient way to go out and shoot sets in venues. We've shot at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach. We shot at the Ice House, and I love the Ice House because the Ice House has their microphones are all prepped and ready. You just connect to the board. They have mics in the audience, so they're fully equipped for production. We brought a slider for one of the comics, and this is all for digital content. We had 3-camera shoots, one on the slider, one main camera on sticks in the middle, and then one roaming. So getting audience shots and profile of the comedian. And we probably only used 3 or 4 shots of the audience for this whole 1 hour. So I don't think it's that important. I mean, if there's a clever way to work around it.
You know what? I just came up with an idea, and you know what? I'm just going to say it on this podcast. So if anybody, when you start seeing people do it, remember, Rene, that it was my idea. Okay? So you know what I would do if it was my and people are probably going to do it, and it, they didn't take it from me. I'm just joking around because it seems like obvious. You know what I would do though, dude? If I was going to shoot a special and they had to have everybody kind of spread out, like I said, I would do those, individual round tables, like old school comedy clubs, like a restaurant or something like that. But a little camera on every table, like, kind of being held on the edge of it, so that you can kind of see at any point during the special when we want to cut to the crowd. We won't cut to a wide shot of the crowd to see how far apart people really are. We'll just cut to individual tables of them and their family or their loved ones kind of sitting together, laughing together. I think that's like and then every time you cut to an audience, it's going to be a different table. So, you're going to see there's several different people laughing. I think that would be kind of like a nice, like, homey feel, You won't cut to an audience and see emptiness and gaps.
Yeah, I mean, there's that's definitely a way. And if you can just focus on one person each time, right?
Yeah. One camera per table. That could be expensive, though, huh?
Not if they're GoPros.
Yeah, just put a couple GoPros, and the GoPro cam is actually kind of what you want. You want that. Yeah,
because it's very kind of fisheye.
Yeah, that's what you want. It's like kind of like a look into their lives. Yeah, dude, I think that could work. Now I'm excited. Now you got me thinking.
When you're ready to shoot it, let's do it.
Do I call you when I want to film a special?
Yeah, you call me.
Okay, so you direct it, or you produce? Is it your production company? What is it?
Yeah. So we're a production company.
Mm-hmm.
We're content creator company. We're a podcast company. So we do it all. We fill all the aspects of what comedians need.
Okay.
Not just comedians. We work with people outside of the comedy industry, but our main core of clients and people who work with are comedians.
But do you have all that equipment already, or do you have to rent it?
We pretty much have everything that we talked about. We probably have 95% of it in-house. We have cameras. We have all the audio equipment. We have sliders. We have a few GoPros.
Yeah, we'll see, dude. When things start opening up and like they actually have restaurants open again, I think that's what I would have to wait for, is to see when restaurants open and what are their guidelines. How far do each tables have to be apart from each other? So I think that's the thing that I'm gonna have to wait and see that guideline. And then if it's like, hey, every table has to be 6 feet apart, then you know what, dude? Yeah, we'll get I'll do a comedy club, or I'll do it at like a theater or a restaurant or something that has a stage, and we'll just we'll decorate the room. We'll put little tables, make sure they're all 6 feet apart, and just a GoPro at every table.
So I know you're like an LA native, right?
Yeah.
Where your core fans, and through social media, have you found like a weird pocket of like fans in like another city?
Have I found a weird what?
Like a pocket of fans in another city where you're like, oh shit, I didn't know I was big here.
Oh, yeah. It's weird. It comes, yeah. I have noticed it here and there a little bit. Like, what's funny? It's actually more in other countries for me. And I can tell by the podcast numbers mostly. Like, I'll look at the podcast numbers, and like, obviously the biggest portion is from the United States, but I'd be surprised. I'm like, oh shit, like I got some people in the Netherlands.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, man. Like if you look at my podcast numbers, like it's like the Netherlands are like the number 2 most listened to my podcast. It's so weird.
Netherlands loves your podcast and disc golf.
And what?
And disc golf.
What's that?
Frisbee golf.
Oh, frisbee. Oh, disc golf. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's big in Europe.
Gotcha. So listen, bro, while I gotcha,
yeah,
the real reason I wanted to have you on is because you dropped some knowledge on me the other day. If you know what I'm talking about. If you want to talk about it, you want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Okay. So, I'm a stand-up comedian. I have always kind of been a big believer of not necessarily letting people know my views, especially political views and stuff like that. And I still pretty much feel that. But little by little, I am loosening up. And it's not so much like my political views as much as it's like, well, I just see something that ain't right. And I'm kind of calling people out on it. Because at one point, I think that we got to fight for something, if we believe in something. So this is definitely not business as usual. So I'm, kind of sharing some stuff that I see. And so to talk about, I posted something the other day about Bill Gates, right?
You did.
And then you hit me up in a message, which I'm glad that you did. And I have heard about the patent on the coronavirus. Have you heard about that?
Definitely have.
Okay, so I've heard about the patent on the coronavirus, which is owned by Bill Gates. Am I wrong?
Correct.
It is.
Bill Gates, and he owned patents on coronavirus, and I think Microsoft is also part owner of some of the other things that they're doing,
right?
Like the
and
like
then
the new. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say you sent me something that said like, "Hey, bro, you don't know the half of it," and then you said Google. And then you said a United States patent, and then you gave me the patent number, which was WOWO2020060606, right?
Correct.
Now tell the people, which by the way, yes, I listen to a lot of conspiracy theory podcasts, all right? I'm not going to lie to you and say I don't. Do I consider myself a conspiracy theorist? Not really, but I sure as hell like them. But this is not a conspiracy theory. This is a fact that you guys can go yourself right now online and look up. So tell the people, if they go online and they put in that patent number, WO2020060606, what does that patent mean? Like, what is the patent?
So what the patent is, it's the patent for the technology of a chip that would go into your body, which could then be used as your identity, where your money, your bank accounts are attached to it, your identity, everything about your personality is in that chip. Now, this was just patented, I want to say March.
It said this last March.
Correct.
What's funny enough is I believe it was March 26th, which I think is the exact day of the lockdown. I grew up in a very Catholic home. A lot of my beliefs are in the Catholic faith. I don't necessarily follow or, I still live a life of trying to be a good person and
with the values of the Catholic ideals.
Yeah.
But one thing, since I was a kid, and I was always intrigued by the whole, secret societies, right?
Yeah, it's intriguing.
There was always like the idea, in the future you're going to get the mark of the beast, which is 666. It's going to happen, and it was supposed to be a barcode on your arm, and this was like, since I was a kid in the 80s, I would hear about this all my life. The mark of the beast, 666.
Yeah.
And it is fucking mark of the beast. That's exactly what has been fucking foreshadowed since all of us can remember.
Yeah.
Anybody who was raised in a biblical home or has even learned about the Bible and Revelations, there's always the idea of the mark of the beast.
I'm pretty sure that there's I could be wrong. Somebody correct me on this, but I think there's a movie called 666 about the devil or something.
There was a lot of Christian faith-based movies in the early 2000s, the 90s that were made. I think Kirk Cameron was in one of them. I think he was in all of them.
But I mean, yeah, I think it's mostly common knowledge that 666 is, a satanic number. Whether you believe in it or not, the point is that they believe in it. Maybe you think 666 has no power, or maybe you think that that's just mumbo jumbo or Bible talk. But the point is that they think it's that, and they're naming their own shit after it, which means that they obviously practice devil shit.
Devil shit. And it's Bill Gates, and there's like a list of, I think, 7 or 8 Microsoft scientists attached to this technology.
So when I Googled the patent like you told me to do, I saw what you were saying is that it's a microchip that's going to go in our body, and basically everything but your personality, it understands. It says it uses bodily activity to, like you said, it's going to have our social, it's going to probably have our credit score, it's probably going to have our bank account, how much money we have. I think that I've also heard a rumor, not in this particular patent, but I've also heard that they want to be able to tell what your temperature is. They also want your medical history and medical records to be stored on that chip. And not only is
this is all shit that Bill Gates has been pushing.
He's been pushing since like the 90s. Like you can go back and watch videos of him trying to push for it. And we all thought back then that this chip inside of us, it was going to be something that we can scan. You walk up to a building and you scan it and it lets you in or something like that. And that might be true, but now, I mean, it's even more than that. Now it's going to be like a Bluetooth technology that, if you have an app, and they've already started this. Like, dude, you can look this up too. They've already like just telling you the truth. Hey, Facebook technology and all this stuff is currently already using like Facebook and the apps and stuff to know everything, to know where you are. Like they're already using it, dude. And what they want to do is they want you to, there's existing apps that tell you who around you has coronavirus. So, but that right now is based on you have to hope that the person is actually telling the truth and going, yes, I have coronavirus in the app. That's what it's based off of right now.
And you have to opt in to the app. So if you update your phone, if there's any update, there's going to be opt-ins that you aren't aware of unless you read that 300-page license agreement. So there's opt-ins that without you actually looking at that, you're agreeing to them to monitor your activity, your social distancing. There's an app that I use called Citizen. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, yeah.
So it's an app that kind of alerts you when there's like some sort of police activity in an area or like a crime or an accident. So just a couple days ago, I got an alert that do you want to opt in for this for the social distancing monitoring? I'm like, no, I don't want.
Hell no.
Why would I voluntarily give you that information?
Yeah.
I try to take off my location.
Yeah, me too.
Even though it's not 100% proof.
Dude, every website you go to now, I feel like as soon as you're on the website, they go, is it okay if we know your location? Why the fuck do you need that? Like, it's different if I'm ordering something. You need to know how close I am to the store, I guess, so you know which store to come from. But it's like every website. Dude, every app I download, is it okay if we access your camera? Is it okay if we access your microphone? Is it okay if we access your pictures? Is it okay if we know your location? No. Like, what is the purpose? It has nothing to do with the function of this app.
Yeah, Kindle. Why the fuck do you need to know where I'm at?
Yeah, dude. I go on bestbuy.com and they're like, we want to know your location. Why? I don't want you to know my location. I'm just window shopping right now, dude. You know, like they're just using that data. They're using that technology. And, you know, so right now we're relying on the fact that, I should say they are relying on the fact that someone's going to opt in and they're going to, you know, right now there's laws where you have to opt in. And most people aren't even going to read the disclaimer, and they're going to opt in. But right now they do have to ask you to opt in. But if they're going to eventually try to pass a law so you don't have to opt in. It's going to have to be mandatory. Like you might have like your location turned off on your cell phone, but it's not off on all your apps. And it's not, you know what I mean? It's not off when you go to a website and you're going shopping. They know your location. So they very well easily could track two people who have their cell phones on them and go, well, they're not standing 6 feet apart. It's totally doable. I'm not saying that's what they're doing yet, but I'm just saying it's doable. Now,
but they've tracked. They've been on the news. They've mentioned that. I think it was Newsom or Garcetti. They've been monitoring people on stuff. They're like, oh, you guys aren't social distancing. This is the data we have from people that were in concentrated locations. Like, fuck, they're already doing it without people's consent. Well, they consent. They opted in, unwillingly, unknowingly, they consented.
And it's so easy for them to track people now. Think about it, man. Like, stand 6 feet apart. When you go to the grocery store, there's arrows on the floor that tell you where to stand and which direction to walk and how far to stand behind the other. You know, dude, like, it's like, yeah, dude, we're fucking, like, literal sheep. You know, like, we're just herds now. We're like robots. But anyway, so the patent... This is what it is, and I think that the future is that, you know, they're not going to rely on them telling you, yes, I have been diagnosed with the virus, or yes, I have a flu or a fever, and putting the data into the app. So they're not going to count on you to do it. So they want this technology for you to open your app and be able to tell who has a fever and all around you, who has the virus around you. So I think that eventually it's going to be, you know, microchipped, and this patent tells it. It's that, yes, they want to put this microchip in you. It is an existing patent. People for decades have been talking about, oh, they want to microchip us. But Bill Burr has a brilliant special from 2009. I believe it's called Why Do I Do This? It's on Netflix. It's absolutely pure brilliance. And in that special, dude, he says whatever they're doing to dogs, they're going to eventually be doing to us. They're going to microchip us. Dude, he hits it so much in 2009, dude, he talks about a virus. You got to watch that Bill Burr special. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have, like, they want to put a chip on us. The patent exists. The patent number is WOWO2020060606, which is literally, they planned on dropping it on 2020, and the 666 Neramic devil worshipping shit. Now, if you scroll down on the patent, it tells you right there who owns the patent, and it's Microsoft, which is Bill Gates. And then it's all these other people. It tells you all the co-owners. What are you doing over there, Rene? You buying an ice cream?
Did you hear the ice cream?
Yeah. What did you go get an ice cream real quick? No, but I don't know if you.
I have to hang outside. My kids are a little.
No worries. No, we'll wrap up here too. But you got. I don't know if you noticed this, dude. But all the co-owners on this patent, besides Bill Gates and Microsoft, all the co-owners are a bunch of Chinese names. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Just saying. Okay? I did notice that the patent was called, besides the patent number, it's called, what do they call it? Cryptocurrency, like body chip or something like that. So how does cryptocurrency play a role in this?
Well, everybody, look, this is where it gets political. because you have a president right now who wants to get rid of Fed and wants to go back to the gold standard because he knows that there's going to be a cryptocurrency push where it's digital money that exists out of nowhere. If people are mad that people could print money out of thin air and give it value, cryptocurrency is going to be fully controlled with no actual physical cash.
Yeah.
They'll be able to take your money. They'll be able to devalue your bank account. They'll be able to control. There's like the social ratings right now. I don't know if you're familiar with that. In China, they do that. They have like a social rating of, depending on how you behave, is the rating that you have. Instead of like your FICO score, there's a social rating where if say you do something bad, that's going to have repercussions for you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
If you do something that doesn't look good in the eyes of the dictator in China, they devalue your person. You as a person are devalued. With cryptocurrency, they could put your trust to zero because you don't have that physical. There's no physical gold to back what it is.
And what is the future for us that they're going to base that off of? I didn't wear a mask, so therefore I'm going to get a low score, and then you're going to take my money.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't stand 6 feet apart from this person. I mean, they can basically make up like, you're violating the rules, and then we're going to get a low score. So, and then, I mean, maybe that's their way around the Constitution. It's like, well, we're not going to take you to jail if you don't wear a mask and you don't stand 6 feet apart from people, but we will be docking your points. Whatever it is, I just think that it absolutely cannot happen, and I'm fighting for it not to happen, dude. It just can't happen. They can't have that much control, and I think a part of the reason, again, like you said, this is where it gets political. I never vote for a party. I think that is, I'm sorry to offend anybody, I think that's the dumbest thing ever to vote based on party. I
agree.
I've never considered myself any type of party. This vote blue no matter who, vote red no matter who, which doesn't even rhyme, by the way, is the dumbest statement I've ever heard.
Could have made it rhyme.
Yeah, so like the devil can run for president as a Democrat, and you're going to vote for him because you vote blue no matter who. It's absolutely the dumbest, most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. But I will tell you that I am going to do, if there's anything I can do to prevent what we're talking about from happening, I will do it. It's wrong. Now maybe you're going to go like, well, what's the big deal? So what? They'll know where we are. It's not like I'm doing anything that important. And I mean, it only violates the Constitution. That's all. But besides that,
that's what pisses me off the most. The shit that pisses me off the most are the people who say, I have nothing to hide, I don't care.
Right.
No.
Right.
It doesn't work.
And it's also more about the principle, and whatever you allow them, I've been saying this, dude, whatever you allow them to do to you today, they're going to do worse to you tomorrow. If you keep bending over and taking it up the ass, they're going to keep giving it to you up the ass, man. Like, you can't just give it to them. You can't give it up so easy. I'm
Dude, right now.
Yeah.
Right now, they're just giving you the pinky, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually they move to the thumb.
Yeah. And that's exactly what they're doing. They went like, stay home for 30 days and we'll save lives. And we all went, okay, I want to save lives. And then they went, stay home for 60 days and we'll save lives. And you're like, damn, 60 days? We all got to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? And then, but okay, I guess I'll save lives. Stay home for, 60, for 70 days, and you're going to save lives. And we're all kind of like, well, we're kind of also breaking the Constitution, but I guess we're making a sacrifice to save lives. And then all of a sudden it's 90 days. Then all of a sudden it's a year. And it's like, and then I've seen a lot of people make the argument of back when the swine flu happened, they were like saying, they tore kids away from their families and stuff like that. So we should not complain. We have it easy right now. But yeah, if you do whatever they tell you to do right now, they will eventually be doing worse to you tomorrow. They're going to eventually take your kids away. If you're letting them walk all over you on this, we'll get there. Like, I promise you, we'll get there.
Well, I don't know if you heard about the lady in Oregon who had the salon. I guess she got fined for opening up her salon.
Yeah.
And then they were looking at taking her kids away.
Absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, it's one thing to fine. She knew the risk. I don't think it's right to give him a fine, but they did tell us you'll get a fine. She knew the risk, but don't take her kids away, man. It's got nothing to do with it. It's got nothing. And
they're dropping cases across the country. People who were fined, they'll take it to court and realize it's unconstitutional what they did.
Yeah.
So they're just dropping them. But it's having to deal with the bullshit now.
Yeah. I would absolutely, if I got a fine, and if there's anybody out there that has a business that got a fine, or if you were out, I know somebody that was out in the park walking their dog and got $1,000 fine. If you get a fine, I encourage everybody to fight it, which I strongly believe you'll win that argument. Just go in there and bring the First Amendment, bring the Constitution with you. I don't see you walking out of that courtroom with $1,000 fine. You know,
yeah, I mean, it's
fucking crazy, dude.
It's getting to the point where, you know, like how much is the water going to boil until it starts boiling over?
Yeah.
Like it's getting to the point where it's like, you know, if this shit doesn't end, like, you know, some shit's gonna pop off.
Right. And dude, you know that they've been planning this for a while, so they're probably about to lose millions. Like, you know, at least as far as we know of, at least from the 90s, Bill Gates has been trying to push this microchip. At least from the 90s. Although the patent that you and I were talking about came in effect March of 2020, right when this lockdown happened. So it almost kind of seems like he's, you know, jumping on the opportunity.
So have you seen his TED Talks? Have you seen his TED Talk or any of the videos about population control?
I have, dude. I've seen a lot of them. Also, him buying or owning the patent, the coronavirus, Bill Gates owns it. That was in 2006. There's videos of him from the 90s talking about doing this. Like, this has been a plan, and whoever is involved, the deep state, whatever it is, whoever's involved, they've been planning this for a long time, and it's probably been a big push for a really, really long time. So, you know, maybe you don't like Trump. Maybe you like Trump. Maybe you don't like him, but you're like, shit, he's all we got. Whatever it is, they obviously want to take him out because he's probably about to stop all their hard work, and they'll lose tons of money. Not only will they not achieve what they wanted to achieve, but they'll also probably lose a ton because they've probably been banking on this for a while. So I think that they have a lot to lose by him winning. So I think they're going, they'll stop it at no cost to take him out. That's personally what I think. Like, I think that they don't want us outside because they don't want you to go out and vote. If you're voting online, which is what they're really pushing for, they can cheat. They can twist the votes. Now, I'm not saying I like the guy as a human being. I got my problems with him, dude. Like, you know, I also don't think that Trump is so good and he's doing it just because he's a good person. He benefits huge from stopping them. I mean, think about it. If he takes off if he takes out Bill Gates, the Clintons, and if he takes out like all these big, huge, powerful people in this country, when he's not the president anymore, he will be like the top dog. He took out all his competition. So I don't think he's doing it for maybe he's doing it for the people, but he's also benefiting from it too. But in this case, I'm like, well, shit, I can't argue with that, dude. We got to take these guys out. I don't want to be microchipped.
I mean, here's something for this case. Since the 80s, when he's been asked if he'd ever run for president, he always had the same response. He wanted to clean up the way U.S. does business, right? He's always been pushing that. He's always been pushing it, and it's always been consistent.
Yeah.
It's always been a consistent response to if he would run for president.
Right.
He had a lot of friends. He had a lot of friends in, you know, in entertainment, a lot of friends in the business world, and once he became president, he didn't want to play by their rules anymore.
Yeah. Dude, have you seen this video that's going around? It's hilarious. Remember when he was on Fresh Prince?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some meme. Dude, and anytime, like, there's also the meme flying around where Kevin McAllister asked him for help.
That's right.
In Home Alone 2.
Yeah, in the hotel. Yeah, that's right. At the Plaza Hotel. Yeah, but Kevin McAllister stops and he's asked for directions, and it's Donald Trump, and he's like, you go down there, hall. Well, in Fresh Prince, it was when the whole episode was about like this really, really rich person that wanted to buy their house, and then when he actually showed up, it ended up being Donald Trump. And then, like, Ashley goes off on him. She's like, she didn't want to sell the house. She's like, you're ruining my life. And then the girl, I guess it's his wife at the time, was like, why is she mad at you? He goes, everybody blames me for everything. And that was like in the early 90s.
Did you hear about the there's a state, I think it was, I forget which state, but they sent out vote by mail registration, and Trump is now going to threaten to withhold funding. So to Michigan and Nevada on earlier today, that he threatened to withhold funding from Michigan and Nevada over their election plan because they decided to send applications for absentee ballots to the 7.7 million registered voters. And it was done illegally without authorization.
Oh, yeah?
Here's what I do. Whenever I hear anything, I never repeat it. I never talk about it. I never share it unless I look it up myself.
Okay.
Like, I look it up, and I need to validate 5 or 6 different sources. And some sources, are always sketchy, but you just keep on looking, you'll find stuff. Like, anything Alex Jones says, I take it with a grain of salt. But sometimes there's truth behind it.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's like a lot of truth behind it. And something with him, he's been preaching that there was going to be some sort of pandemic or some sort of virus pushed into the world during the election year. And he has been talking about it for like 2-3 years. And it's crazy that it's all coming to fruition. Everything that he's been saying related to this has happened.
Right.
And you can look it up. You could find the paper trail of him saying all this. And he's been around for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with William Cooper?
No.
Look up Behold a Pale Horse.
Okay.
It's a book written in
I've heard of that. I have heard of that, yes.
William Cooper. He was one of the first, he was one of the more mainstream personalities that kind of was labeled as conspiracy theorist. And ironically, he was murdered at his house by plainclothes sheriffs. And he knew about it. He sent his family off to, I think, Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
He knew he was going to get killed. But he was labeled the most dangerous man in America by Clinton. He was just exposing shit.
Right.
Now, that's another one, like, take it with a grain of salt. There's some things in there that are like, okay, there's no backing, but he says he has sources. Like, everything that he says in his book are repeated from sources that he has. It's an interesting book.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So what was one of the ones that you think is ringing true right now?
From him?
Yeah.
So there's been excerpts of this page where that the government will create certain events of mass shootings so then they can regulate gun law. And that's what happens. Every time there's one shooting, there's always some sort of gun law.
Yeah, they're always trying to pass the gun law whenever there's a mass shooting.
Yes, they happened in Canada last month. There was this mass shooting. I think they banned like 50, 60-something guns.
Dude, they've banned, like, all guns. I heard about that. Dude, Canada, you can't have a gun anymore. They're actually going to come confiscate it. They're saying that they're buying them back from you. They're not calling it confiscating, but it's confiscating, man. And I bet you they're not going to give you anywhere near where your gun is worth or what you paid for it, but they're going to buy your guns back from you. And then what happened is that what's their president's name? I forget his name. Trudeau, yes. Dude, what's fucked up is, like, the guy didn't even wait, like, a week after the shooting. He, like, the day of, like, literally during, like, bodies still lying on the ground, he went, like, well, I'm just going to pass this law. Like, he totally used it to pass his law, which he probably already had ready to go, you know?
Yeah. And I'm sure there's laws written right now in front of Pelosi's desk that she's just waiting for certain events to happen so she could fucking pass them through Congress.
Yeah, dude, I'm probably out of line for saying this, but I mean, I'm a big firm believer on like if I can't like think anymore, then like where are we? Like if something pops in my head, I want to say it. Okay, I mean it's a thought. If I think of it, a criminal could think of it, and therefore it could be done, right? So yeah, I might be out of line for saying this, but I think depending on whose agenda it was. So let's say wearing a mask was the left side's agenda. Or excuse me, not wearing a mask was the left side's agenda. Right now, I kind of feel like wearing a mask is the left side's agenda. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all want to wear it at the grocery stores. We want to protect each other. We want to stay safe. But I think, like, we got to draw the line somewhere. We're breaking the Constitution by forcing people outside while walking to wear a mask. I'm having people in my neighborhood come up to me shaming me when I'm out walking my dog and telling me that I need to put a mask on like it's any of their business, But here's what I was going to say was I think that if it was the other way around, if it was the left side that their agenda was to not wear a mask, I honestly believe that they would start staging robberies, murders, and rapes.
Well, if you left, I think over the weekend, I think Saturday, there was an article that came out in Santa Ana. Crime is up. Robberies are up 50%.
Of course they are. Of course they are. I was just having this debate with somebody right now, which, by the way, if you're on Twitter, Rene, go look at my Twitter because I started a poll right now that said, like, who's right, me or my friend? And for some reason, I think it's because apparently the masses are extremely dumb, but my friend is winning the poll right now. But you should go and vote for my argument, which is exactly what you're saying right now, is that crime is up. And what my argument is that, somebody could get raped. I'm not saying that they are. And you know what bothers me is people with their argument, they keep coming up to me going, well, statistically, more people get raped not wearing a mask in the history of times. Statistically, rapists don't act that way. They're more tend to act like this. Well, it's like, you can't give me statistics based on the past. This is a thought, which I'm still allowed to have those, about the future. This is a thought about what could happen, not what did happen. Ever hear of Murphy's Law? Whatever can happen will. So if I thought of it, someone's going to think of it. So you know what I mean? Like someone's going to sit there and go like, well, I can go commit a crime or even rape someone and I'm going to wear a mask and no one's ever going to be able to identify me. There's an ongoing hashtag that the feminist community is pushing that says hashtag believe her, right? Hashtag believe her, which implies if a woman says that if somebody rapes her, she's telling the truth. Believe all women, I think, is the hashtag. Well, how are you going to believe her if they're wearing a mask and she can't identify them? Now, I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about what could happen.
But here's the hypocrisy there. If they really want to believe her, why not believe Tara Reid?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, don't even get me started on that one, dude. That's a whole nother episode. Absolutely. I mean, that's the obvious, right? Believe her until Tara Reid. But right. But yeah, believe all women except that one. But that little bitch is a liar.
She doesn't believe what we believe.
Right, but you're not going to have any believe all women in the future if everyone's wearing a mask. And people keep arguing with me going, statistically this, statistically that. And they go like, well, people are not going to like plan that and be like, oh, thank God there's a worldwide pandemic. I'm going to put my mask on and go rape people. Like that's their argument. But it's like, guys, a year ago, if you saw someone snooping around your mom's house or like your house where you have kids and stuff, or not even snooping around on your property, like walking down your neighborhood street, wearing a mask and it's not Halloween, wouldn't you call the cops? Right?
Fuck yeah. A year ago you would. If somebody's snooping around with their face half covered.
Right. But right now you wouldn't look twice because the quote-unquote new normal is for everyone to wear a mask. And I don't know how people are not understanding my argument on this. And I'm not saying this has happened. They go, show me where that's happened. Well, first of all, I could show you because in my neighborhood, I'm on the Nextdoor app. I can tell you that a guy was breaking into cars in broad daylight. He was just opening the doors and taking stuff out. And no one reported it until he got to like 6 or 7 blocks because it just looked like a dude getting in his own car wearing a mask. So, but I don't need to show anybody data or facts or anything like that. I'm talking about what could happen. Why do we need to wait for someone to get raped before we'll do something about it? I was just naming the cons of wearing a mask. The pros are not to, give someone a virus or receive a virus. There's a lot more cons.
Even up until recently, up until this happened, a couple of years ago, the CDC on their website showed that wearing a mask doesn't prevent transmission. Especially now,
Yeah.
a cloth mask, the ones that the majority of people are buying, because they're not buying the N95.
Right. People wear bandanas.
I wear bandana because I don't believe this shit.
I don't either, dude. Well, first of all, I don't wear anything. But when I go into a grocery store, you got to see me, dude. I'll send you a picture. When I go to a grocery store, I got a big-ass mask. It looks like I'm Bane from Batman. I normally wear it when I'm doing my mountain biking because it attaches to a helmet, but it covers your mouth too, so like nothing goes in your mouth. And, if you fall, you're not going to break a teeth or something. So that's what I have in my car all the time. So I just put that on, and it looks so scary. And people don't come anywhere near me.
Dude, twice in the last week, I've forgotten to put on my mask or my bandana getting out of my car.
Yeah.
And I've walked in halfway through the store, and I already had my fucking cart filled with shit. I had security come up to me at one store. Hey, where's your mask? I'm like, fuck.
I know. It sucks, dude. I've like gotten like all of a sudden like, oh, you know what? I need to stop at the grocery store. And I stop and I go, darn, I don't have a mask with me in the car. And it's, like before I used to have to like, feel bad for not bringing my recyclable tote bags to the grocery store.
Yeah.
But now,
shame you. Find a way to shame you.
It's now, yeah, dude, there's no mask shaming. But anyway, bro, I want to talk more about it, but I mean, we're already at an hour. I want to get you back on because after you told me about that patent, which I encourage everybody to go look up the patent. Again, it's WOWO2020060606. Do you know what the WO stands for? That one I couldn't figure out.
I do not.
I don't know. I'll look into it though. I'll put my best minds on it, which apparently are not on Twitter. But anyway, guys, check it out. It's fucking mind-blowing. The guy who owns the patent on what is inevitably going to be the cure also owns the disease. I mean, do you guys need to watch more CSI? Because you're not really good detectives. Anyway, dude. Sorry, go ahead.
You heard of ID 2020?
IG 2020, like Instagram 2020?
ID 2020.
Oh, ID no.
No, that's another one you should look up.
ID 2020. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'll check out that one too. We'll have more to talk about when you come on next. Because also, after you sent me the patent thing, you said to me that you have actually done a lot of research into it. Because you wrote, you wrote a thesis on it for college?
Years ago. So, like I said, back in the 90s, I started looking into. I was questioning everything, and started doing it. Back then, you could only research on books, and very minimal information was online. So I would take whatever classes I could take that would fall into the category of what was considered conspiracy theory. It was like critical thinking class. I took a alternate media class where there I learned about radio transmissions that were around at the time. Like that's how William Cooper would get his information out. He would have it's like a closed circuit type broadcast where it was kind of through like a pirate radio back in the day. And I started doing my research. I did a full paper on the Illuminati and the Masons, and fucking I nailed. I got an A. And my teacher and I had like this long conversation. He just said, keep on looking into it.
Wow. And so you've been kind of interested in that ever since?
Yeah, this was like in 97, 98.
Wow. And ever since then, you've always kind of had like your eyes open to it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like everything I see on TV, even though I work in the industry, like I'm aware, like it's all like bullshit. Like I even watch Disney with like a side eye because I know a lot of the shit that's on there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
It's visible.
Totally.
Like, because I grew up with Disney, you know, there are wholesome elements. They do teach wholesome values, but they still seem to interject some shit. You know, a lot of it, the actors come out off fucked up because they fall into that world, and they're pushed through that world.
Yeah.
They're bred to become these idols for people to listen and follow. That's why every time there's an incident that happens, everybody looks to see what the celebrities have to say, because this is what we've been taught. We've seen these people grow up before our eyes. We followed their careers before our eyes. Now let's see what they have to say, because we're going to listen to them.
Yeah, dude. Remind me next time to tell you about the Justin Bieber story. I think I told it recently when Sam Tripoli was just on my podcast, but remind me to tell you about the Justin Bieber story. Yeah, dude. He's such a great person, and I love him too, dude. He's just so funny.
We've done a couple of projects together.
Oh, really, dude? Yeah, he's so awesome. He's one of the sweetest guys. I mean, he has a hard surface and like a softy caramel inside. You know what I mean? He's such a great person, and he does a wonderful job on his podcast. And yeah, he was just on, and we were talking a lot about some of this stuff. But dude, I want to do a part 2 to this episode, and I want to get more into your college thesis about what you were just talking about, and then all your research since then. Do you think maybe you have time next week?
I could. What day?
Let me know. Well, not Monday. I think Monday's Memorial Day. You know, spend time with family. But if not next week, the week after that, just let me know what day you can do it around the same time, and we'll just do it, because I try to keep these to an hour, and we'll just do an hour also. But I feel like that's a whole nother episode. I want to do a part 2 with you, if that's all right.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Okay, awesome. Dude, thank you so much for volunteering your time with me. I know you got a family over there, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I really enjoyed it. And it was so good to talk to you. I haven't talked to you since our old Stand Up and Deliver days, but it was just so great to reconnect.
Dude, likewise. It was great to catch up. Yeah, man, this was fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
You're welcome back on anytime, and I definitely want to talk to you again about some more stuff. Just let me know if you have anything coming up that you want to promote, any new shows or projects that you're working on. You're welcome on here anytime.
Cool, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'll let you know. Hopefully, when the world opens up, I'll be doing a special.
We'll be doing your special.
All right, bro. Yeah.
Right.
I'll tell you later too about my idea. It's gonna be pretty cool.
All right, man.
All right, dude. Well, have a good one. Have a great Memorial weekend, and I'll text me. We'll talk sometime next week or the week after that.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Peace.
I take care.
That was Rene Garcia. Rene Aguirre. Sorry, I have another comedian friend named Rene Garcia. That was Rene Aguirre. I don't know about you guys. I really enjoyed that conversation. I wish that we got started a little bit earlier into some of that stuff, but we ran out of time because we were talking. You know, I haven't talked to him in like 3 years, or actually more than 3 years, and you know, we haven't talked to him forever, and we were just kind of going through like how we met and you know, our old working together on the TV show. But heavy stuff, man. Heavy stuff. Every day I learn something new. And I hope that you guys do too here on the Homeschool Podcast. All right, everybody. I hope that everybody's having a fantastic weekend this weekend. It's Memorial Weekend. I know you're on lockdown. I know. But listen, you guys, something good take out of it. Do something fun. Enjoy yourselves. Love people around you. Spend time with people you love, and make your life quality that much better. If you have something to do with it, then do it, okay? You're in charge of the quality of your life. Have a wonderful Memorial weekend. Don't forget, the links are in the description, everybody. I will be at House of Comedy in Phoenix, Arizona, Father's Day weekend. That's June 18th through June 21st. So that is the Thursday through Sunday shows on Father's Day weekend. Also, all the links in the description. You can get. Please support the Homeschool Podcast by picking up one of our T-shirts or hoodies or sticker or a mug or something. The Ex-Presidents series of our T-shirts. Homeschool Podcast has one logo out right now. It's called the Ex-Presidents edition. It is dope. It's me and my co-host Kevin Lyons holding, wearing the. I'm wearing Ronald Ronald Reagan. He's wearing Richard Nixon, and it's just a really cool graphic design on the t-shirt. It says Homeschooled Podcast. Check it out. It's dope. It will no longer be available when we hit episode 300 because it has been representing the 200s. When we hit episode 300, there will be a new t-shirt out to get. This way we know how long you've been listening to the podcast. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, you guys, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for giving us a try. I know you have a lot of options out there for podcasts. Thank you for choosing us. I would like to do some shout outs here. If you give me just one moment, let me do some shout outs. Sorry guys, every now and then, I haven't done them in a long time, but every now and then I like to do a shout out on here. I want to give a shout out to Rudy Mac 86. Let's see, Third Eyed Monster, Daltiar. Let me make sure I'm saying that right. I don't know. Probably. I think he's a personal trainer. So, yes, Daltiar. Who else do I got here? I got Daniel Maj. Bryce Horith. Sir X Me. Keegan7788. The Wiggler Spot. Humple 414, Ron Da Vinci, Swimming Samer. Sorry guys, I'm fucking these up. Crane Dad, and you know what? We'll leave it at Crane Dad. We'll leave off right there. Those are the shout-outs. Those are just some Instagram shout-outs. Every now and then I do shout-outs in here. I haven't done them in a long time, so I just thought it was time. And I just want to thank you. I gave you a shout-out to thank you for giving the podcast a try, or thank you for showing me some love or support online or social media. So thank you guys for that. And if you're a returning listener to the Homeschool Podcast, thank you for your loyalty. And until next time, I'm Augustino Zoida. This is Homeschooled Podcast.